All right, hello. Excuse me. The Research Scavenger Hunt project. Um, I'm going to share my screen here in a moment and go over the actual assignment. So if you haven't done so already, it'd be a good idea to download the assignment sheet so you can follow along as I go over the directions. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so here are the due dates for this. If you're watching this in a later semester, pay attention to the due dates that are on your screen. If you've taken my class before, this is a different version of it. We are no longer using the pocket style manual as part of the merger process. So part of this assignment comes from your lit book as opposed to your pocket style manual. All right, so let's take a look at section 1. Now, on all the stuff that you turn in for this essay, it needs to be submitted on a file in Canvas. When you do section 1, just make it clear which question you are answering so I can follow along as I am grading it. So the instructions read, complete all the short answer questions below as completely as possible. Type your responses on a separate file. Keep in mind that a complete answer is going to differ from question to question. Also make sure that it is clear on your response sheet which question you are answering, as I just mentioned. It would be wise to read the section of the book before you begin looking for the answers. And the reading from this part of the book is part of your reading for weeks 1 and 2. Okay, so this all comes from the first 50 pages or so of the lit book. The pages you should be looking for the answers to these questions in are listed under each section. Please use the correct number to correspond with the correct question. All right, moving on to section 2. This is actually worth 10 points. Sorry for the typo there. Copy and paste the following links into your internet browser. So basically, I want you to go to the Al Purdue website, the online writing lab at Purdue and at Centralia. List 5 tools that each site offers English students, so 10 total. After you've written the 5 tools for each site, write a paragraph discussing how you might use each of these sites for school. Now, that's 1 paragraph total. So you don't have to write 1 paragraph on each site. 200 words for both of them. So 10 total tools that you see on there that you would find useful, and a paragraph explaining how you might use it in class. The next one is a tutorial on MLA formatting and documentation. This should be a review from English 101. If you're still struggling with MLA documentation after doing this project, please let me know. There's other resources that I can offer to help you out. So watch the video listed on YouTube, then go to the tutorial listed there. You might have to copy and paste the web address into your browser. Make sure that you also have my email address, because when you get done with it, there's a form, a completion form, and you can email it to multiple addresses. Make sure you email it to yourself so you have a copy of it, but then also email it to me so I can check it off that you have done it. Okay, so as long as you get 8 out of 10 or higher on that quiz, you'll get the full 5 points. So you do need to pay attention as you're going through the tutorial. Now, this is the biggest chunk of points. 50 points on the research project for the written portion, and 15 points for the oral presentation. You'll present the oral part of this in the discussions tab. There's already a thread posted there. The assignment, you need to write at least 450 words and format it correctly. This is where I'm testing how much you paid attention to the MLA formatting tutorial in section 3. I'm going to see if you format your research project correctly, and I'm expecting you to format it correctly. There's a list on your syllabus that indicates kind of a checklist of stuff that needs to be there, but also pay attention to that tutorial for correct formatting. Okay, here's the assignment. You'll be asked to research and ID 1 out of 10 authors listed below. An answer consists both of a short biography of the author and an indication of the overall importance to the literary world. For example, if Susan Collins were on the list, your answer would need to include at minimum a short biography of her and the social and or literary place The Hunger Games trilogy takes in our society. For example, you might discuss that there's been a spike in interest in archery as a result of the books or film. Or you might discuss increased literacy rates as a result of the series publication. After your brief biography, you can discuss almost anything you want about the author's work as long as it fits into the broad context of the work's social impact. So your entire discussion of the author should not be they were born here, they went to school here, they published this book this time. You need to give some sort of social significance of this author. What impact on people, on society, on genders, on the world, on the economy, whatever it might be, does this author's work have? So each person's answer is going to be quite different. You could all do the same author and still have quite different answers for your project. Now, for your sources, you should use internet, library, and or Alabama Virtual Library databases, but you should also use non-computerized dictionaries, reference books, periodicals, or other books if possible. I understand that so much stuff is online now that sometimes it's difficult. Your answer should be followed by a list of at least 3 sources cited in MLA style. Your sources should use valid academic peer-reviewed material whenever possible. In other words, do not use sites like BookRag, SparkNotes, 123help.me, Wikipedia, etc. You should never, ever, ever use Wikipedia on a college paper. And if you look at the approved research material policy in the syllabus, and I do recommend that you review that policy over and over again, anything that's not a .gov or a .edu or comes from one of the library databases needs my prior approval via email, so I have it in writing for you to use it. Okay. Now the purpose of this project is for you to get accustomed to using the college's resources in your works. Be careful not to plagiarize even from each other. Your answer should look like no one else's in class. Now, the format. Your answer should be in proper MLA format using 105 to 162 of a pocket style manual if you still have it from 101, or through the MLA formatting that you have gone through on this project. Make sure you create a proper MLA works cited page. So you're going to have your research project where you talk about the author, and then you'll skip a page, and then you have a works cited page with all your sources. Make sure you're citing in the text as well. You have to cite 2 places, in the text with a parenthetical citation and on the works cited page. On the plagiarism PowerPoint, which you should look at in the next couple of weeks, it's in the modules tab, I discuss why you have to cite both in the text and on the works cited page. A sample of a correctly formatted MLA works cited page is on 160 of the PSM. Also, you have it at the end of that MLA tutorial that I've sent you to. Or you could go to the online writing lab at Purdue, which is part of section 2, to see what a proper works cited page looks like. So you have several resources to get that right. Oral presentations. In the discussions tab on Canvas, please give a short presentation of your selected author. Your presentation should be 3 to 5 minutes and discuss something of more substance than just the biography of the author. I don't know why it says you may do your presentation in class on 611. I need to cut that from the assignment. My apologies. Please ignore that. You do have to do it in the discussions tab. In your presentations, please do the following. Give a brief biological overview of the author. That should take maybe a minute. And then discuss why this author is significant to the literary world and or the social world. What impact has this author had on people and society? That's really what I want you to focus on this section of the project. Okay, so here's your author, the authors you can choose from. Salman Rushdie, Tom Stoppard, Thomas Pynchon, Joanne K. Rowling, J.D. Salinger, Kurt Vonnegut, Barbara Kingsolver, John Irving, George Orwell, or Jack Kerouac. Now, you must pick one of those 10 for your primary project. If you want to earn some extra credit with the bonus, and that's worth up to 5 points, you can do a project on Gertrude Stein, but you must discuss one of the authors above before you discuss Ms. Stein. Okay, requirements. Entry of 450 to 600 words. The entire paper must be in MLA format. I've also got other resources there, links that you can go to properly format your works cited page. The entry must illustrate detailed knowledge of the subject and not just a bare bones description. Now, especially for this last section, it may look fairly simple, but don't put it off because some of this work is fairly time consuming. If you put it off, you may find yourself having a difficult time getting it in on time. So please make sure that you are getting started early on this project, like today. Okay, here's the grading rubric, how you'll be evaluated. This only applies to the written portion of the project. Your oral presentation will receive a separate grade. Okay, so that's the basics of the research scavenger hunt. If you have any questions for me, please send me an email, send me a text. I'd be happy to answer your questions about the research project. But get started as soon as it's possible for you, so you don't get too far behind. If you get behind on this project, you might have a late couple of nights toward the end, near the due date, to fix up your problems. So let me know again if you have any questions, and I wish everybody luck on the project.